What is this music? Welcome, everybody.
Hi.
Sorry, we haven't done this more than once in the last 8 months, so I'm learning how to use the equipment again.
Yeah.
I figured out how to turn that off.
Technical difficulties abound.
But we're doing okay. It's only like 3
Hi,
minutes
Trav.
late. Hi.
Where's Dale?
Hi, Jennifer Young. I believe Dale, as he was last week, is teaching until 7 p.m., which means right now he's frantically trying to plug stuff in. He's running to another studio room, and he is frantically trying to make sure things work. Oh, look at you.
I'm sorry.
All librarian.
It's I can't. I could stand back there and probably see you, but otherwise, wow.
So for the people that are just joining us, most of these people so far, we see you, we recognize you.
Hey, Goober. Hey, Glenn. Hey, Greg. Hey, Julie. Hey,
Terry.
Jen Majura is on the thingy.
She is?
Know. She says, hello, everybody.
She knows how to use the equipment.
Right. She's a youngster.
Oh, Valeria is here. Welcome, Valeria. Valeria is somebody that I see a lot in the Jen Majura live feed thing, chat stuffs. Whenever Jen does her, every Saturday, she does like a video drop live premiere thing. I'm not hip to the lingo. I don't know. But you go there on the www and she'll premiere a video. And it's usually like a documentary on her being on the road, or sometimes during COVID, it's been on just whatever has been happening. It used to be the 1 minute jams, which is, of course, people will remember that I did a 1 minute jam with her last year. And so I thought maybe in honor of Halloween later tonight, we might watch the 1 minute jam Halloween episode, because I thought that was fantastic. But anyway, so people that don't know, this is Outside the Inn, which is a Travis Larson Band. It used to be a weekly Q&A, and then we started working on a record, and then we did one New Year's, and then we did one in February, and we did one a couple of weeks ago. So and it basically just became, Werner's here. Hi, Werner.
I was just going to say, from the Baked Potato. Nice.
Oh, really?
Neely's playing tonight.
Nice.
I believe it's tonight. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Say hi to Neely for us.
Hi, Neely.
And if you are in the area of Lankersham, down in Burbank or Universal City, I guess it is, right? I don't know. Yeah. They're kind of the
Studio
same thing.
City, somewhere in there.
Yeah, go to the Baked Potato right now and see Neely if you're into hearing an incredible guitar player that can play way better than I could play. But anyway, so this is used to be a weekly Q&A thing we started doing just to kind of hook up with people and kind of connect with, our friends out there, because we hadn't been on the road in so long. So now we are just checking in occasionally. And when we started getting bored of listening to ourselves talk during the COVID, we started having a lot of friends come on and guests. And so, we had Mike Keneally and, I don't know who we have. Dave LaRue, Larry Mitchell, Joe Travers from the Zappa Band, Brian Beller from the Aristocrats, our frequent touring mate, Marco Miniman, a lot of people. And the one person that we could never get, though, I was friends with, was Jen Majura from Evanescence, because she's 9 hours ahead in Germany. And every once in a while, she would set her alarm and she'd come in and comment like 1 or 2 comments and then go back to bed. But she was, just kind of like sneaking in the middle of the night, like half asleep. So it was, Mario. Hola, amigo.
Mario Miranda. I also saw a Dave Miranda somewhere in there. Hi, Dave
Miranda and Mario Miranda. Are you guys related?
No relation. That's like the Keith Moon, Dale Moon.
Gino's here.
Gino,
the cowbell, the human cowbell stand from the last Aristocrat store. The fluffer, the cowbell fluffer. Yes. So what we're doing right now is we're actually waiting for Dale, and we're waiting for Jen, because I've been trying to connect to Jen, for like 30 minutes, and just can't. Her Wi-Fi is always crappy. and it's always a challenge. And so we've been texting back and forth trying to figure out how to get this working. I've got the texting machine here, and I've been doing that. But to try and get the video up, it's been a little bit challenging. So anyway, but she will be here. We'll make this happen. And Dale, our drummer, like I said, has been teaching. So
well, meanwhile, you want to hear something really gross?
Yeah. Is this like one of those when you're a kid in school, what's grosser than gross jokes?
Oh my God. Do you remember those? Jumping off the 20-foot building and your eyelid catches on a nail. That was always.
I didn't remember that one until you just reminded me.
Yeah. Well, anyways, I'm just trying to kill time. I had a big steak for dinner.
Yeah.
It was really more like this. And then I tried to put, makeup on my face, and I washed my hands, but my face smells like meat right now.
I don't think I've ever heard you in the 32 years that we've been in each other's lives say, my face smells like meat.
Well, I was making meat, and then I ate it, and then I washed my hands, but then I put makeup on, and my face smells like meat.
And for anybody,
that would be funny and kind of Halloween-y in a weird way.
Halloween-y, yeah. I think a Halloween-y idea for a costume would be meat face.
It's like a Lady Gaga thing.
Right. Except more like Adam Sandler on Saturday Night Live doing, I'm crazy meat face. Give me some candy.
Right.
So I will address this too while we're killing time, waiting for Dale and waiting for Jen to figure out her equipment. I did, if you see shiny stuff in my mouth, I do have braces. I don't know if anyone that missed the last live stream, I really got into a whole thing on this, but Stephen Morris, thinks the meat face thing is hilarious.
Gino thinks it's super hot.
Oh, hang on a second. What's going on here?
Oh, yay. Thank God, Dale. We were going pretty low there.
Dale, I'm glad you're here to help us get through this Travis's network time killers, because we've been trying to connect to Jen Majura, and she's been having trouble with her gear. So,
man, it's funny. I felt like I could empathize with Jen. Oh wait.
Yeah, we haven't sound checked with Dale. We didn't even really sound check us. Travis, is everything sounding okay?
You hear me okay?
Yeah, you guys say something.
Hello,
this is sound check, everybody.
Yes.
Yeah, well.
Yeah, you guys sound pretty close.
Hey.
I was thinking of, just since she's like doing shows on a different like production level, I was thinking about here. My last student left, and I went, all right, I'm on it, and I'm trying to get in-ears in, and I'm trying to get this thing, and they're all tangled into a knot, and it took me 10 minutes just to get myself composed, because when you're trying to frantically use tiny wires,
right?
Slow down.
I just got a message, and I don't think she's able to make the digital technology work. So I think we're going to try something else.
Are you serious? What?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
So let's see if we can make this happen. Sorry, everybody. Hang in there.
While you do that, I'm going to.
I'm trying to give her technical advice, because she's trying to figure it out.
There's what's happening right now? Oh, I see some active.
I really tried to connect, but show me how this goes. I cannot connect. Like, what am I doing wrong?
Well, first of all, did you get the Wi-Fi code?
Yeah, but it wouldn't connect. What's going on?
Okay, well, let me take a look at this.
Can I just sit here?
Yeah, why don't you just sit down for the time being?
All right.
Yeah, until you can connect online, just sit there.
I'm just sitting here.
Hi, Jen.
Jen Majura, everybody.
Hi.
Yay!
Yay! I made it! Yay! I made it finally!
Wow.
So, that's not going to work. That view won't work. This view right here, not going to work.
Not going to work.
Hold on, I'm trying to mess with my cameras.
Well, I'm so
Or-
glad that you
Yeah.
got the signal figured out there. Oh
Good,
my
huh?
God.
And
Nice
we're just
bit, guys.
it almost works. Like we're almost the same size as you. You're just a little bigger. It's almost like 3 people in a row if you do it
I know.
right.
How come my head is always so huge in these things? I mean,
So-
well, maybe I need to sit back here. Hey,
No, then you're all the way in the back.
So
then I can see.
So Goober says, Travis, your Wi-Fi is crappy. No, it was the German Wi-Fi wasn't connecting to her phone.
Yeah.
Because what is that, about 6,000 miles?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
It's really far away.
yeah.
It's
So
embarrassing
Jen,
when you have to just teleport because your
Right?
Wi-Fi doesn't work.
Man, I'll tell you, how many times did I wish for teleportation? Can't just somebody smart come up with like a I don't know, Kickstarter to invent teleportation?
I know. What's
please?
Elon Musk up to these
Yeah,
days?
Yeah.
He
right?
needs to get
Shooting
going.
people with rockets to, but
Yeah,
teleportation.
it would be
Yes.
so much more useful.
so
True.
everybody that I see a lot of our people. So
Hi.
I'll tell a quick.
Hey, Mario.
I've told this whole story before, but I'll tell an abbreviated version because we didn't really know who Jen was, but a lot of people know who Jen is. Apparently, she's in a band that can sell out arenas, but
Stadiums.
stadium. Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Right now, stadium.
Travis.
So Jen's band Evanescence recently had the #1 album on Billboard Charts. We'll just do this
Yay.
because I know you get uncomfortable when I
Yay.
talk about
Nice.
you. We'll just do that.
Good. Thank you very much.
And then
Is that the modesty screen?
the modesty
Modesty
screen.
screen. Yeah.
So this is we've had a lot of incredible musicians on here, but this is like the most. I'm afraid.
Don't go with the hand movement. Just say it.
Oh, okay. So she's just like the
Enough.
only like actual like rock star that's been on like Jimmy Kimmel and
Kelly Clarkson.
Clarkson show.
Not
and
Jimmy Fallon though.
Not Fallon yet.
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 Not Saturday Night Live.
Well, Saturday Night
Yet.
Live. When you get on Saturday Night Live, I'm flying out because I'm a longtime geek of Saturday Night Live.
Who isn't?
And so I just want to see, like Belushi's Closet and stuff like that. But anyway, so it has nothing to do with you. I'm just going to go.
Okay, that's fine. That's
I wanna
fine.
take
You're my
pics-
friend, so you can come. Come and hang.
I want pictures of all the stuff. When we played the Iridium, all I was doing backstage was taking pictures of all of Les Paul's gold records,
Of course.
and guitars, and
True
all that stuff.
story.
So, yep. See. Anyway, so Jen is in this band called Evanescence, and they have a #1 album that is called Evanescence.
You don't remember.
New #1 album.
Travis Larson, what the hell's wrong with you?
It's called The Bitter Truth,
called
and it came out March 26th this year, I believe.
And you had the first single you used My Voice?
I think the first single was Wasted on You, which we also did a very interesting video for because we recorded at our homes, because of the pandemic and everything. I wasn't able to travel and see Amy and the guys. And so it was impossible for us to shoot like one video together. And I literally recorded all the footage. Well, every one of us in the band recorded their footage at home. And it's a very, very personal video, a very intimate personal video, because it shows that no matter how big your idol or your favorite artist is, we all are kind of like the same in this situation when COVID hit, and
Sure.
and it's a beautiful video.
Well, and we talked a lot about musicians, and artists being kind of taken out of the equation of being able to do what we want to do. And so all of a sudden you go from a life where you live constantly moving to all of a sudden you're at a house that you never see. And then
Pretty much. My
Yeah.
couch, I spend so much time sitting on my couch. I need a new couch now after this period of time. No, I'm not kidding. Like my couch has this bowl now. And I'm like, no, this is very uncomfortable. I have to get a new couch.
Rita says she thought Evanescence was a country band, and that's got to be a joke because everybody knows Travis Larson Band is a country band.
Right.
There's no more country sounding band name than Travis Larson Band. Travis Larson Band?
But Rita, funny enough that you mention it, Rita runs my Majura Canada fan club.
Ah.
And
Oh.
funny enough that you mention it, because what did we do today? Come on.
Are we telling people?
Uh-huh.
We recorded a country song.
We recorded a country song. Not giving any more spoilers, but Travis and I recorded a country song today.
And
Because you wouldn't want a day off. You wouldn't want a day off on a big tour.
No, it
You got to
felt
be
too
grinding on
uncomfortable.
something.
So, yes.
so this, it's so funny because we talk about different styles of music, and for me to learn the simplest of songs, it's like, what's the chords?
D and A and G.
But there's some kind of a sus thing in there.
No, it's not the sus. That was another song. This one is the
It's like
the A sharp diminished.
Yeah, the A sharp demolished. That's the way I
It's-
play it. That's exactly what I learned, was the A sharp demolished. But the thing is, when you play music, like kind of Travis Larson Band music, and Jennifer Young will be able to attest to this, because we've done gigs with friends of ours and stuff. It's really hard to play 3-chord songs.
Yeah.
Because all of a sudden you lose your space, and unless you get used to, we don't have a lyricist that we usually listen to, so you memorize these journeys of going through all these hills and valleys and stuff. It's kind of like classical music where it's constantly changing, and if you play a song that's these kind of ambiguous, with 3 chords for this and then another 3 chords for this, but you're going to play them like 25 times, and you're not paying attention to that singer.
I have a joke
I'm
since
just
you
listening.
said classical music.
Okay.
What was Beethoven's favorite fruit? Banana.
Oh no.
Now,
Sorry. As you were.
when you read that joke, because I know you didn't write it, when you read that joke, how do they get across the idea that you're going to actually add pitch to the banana?
Well, I didn't. I just happened to know Beethoven, because it says BA-NA-NA-NA-NAAAAA. And I kind of figured
then
it
you
out
know.
from there.
Okay, Symphony Number 9. Banana, banana.
I'm
Wow,
throughout the
you
thing.
did that
I'm gonna,
way better.
Yeah, right.
well, it had like those metal balls.
Right.
I'm going to try and keep bringing us back to subject matter occasionally.
Oh,
Right.
do your thing. I'm just here visiting.
Yeah, as things go on. So,
As are we, Jen. Just me and Dale. We're always just here visiting too.
So Jen is in this big band, and unlike me, who's lucky enough to live within a block of my band members, even though we haven't been able to go out and perform, we can still, bother each other, and
Lucky you.
right?
I haven't seen my band in such a long time.
Yeah. So Jen has been stuck in her apartment in Germany for like a year.
In my
and a
castle,
half.
excuse me.
Own it. That's right.
Jen does live in a castle, and it has a moat.
And it has a moat and a
I've heard
castle
that's
gate.
true.
Yeah, it has a gate.
And a Baroque rose garden.
Baroque.
Mhm.
What does that mean?
It's like old roses, like the style where they, I don't know, it's something about the arrangement of the roses, and they're award-winning roses. Cool, huh? Didn't know that.
Interesting. Hey, Jen, we're getting a little flash or a slapback, I think. Just so you know.
What, Jen?
Jen Young.
Well, Jen, what? Hey,
Jennifer Young, she's not
Oh.
going to change anything. I have control of the board here. I'm just letting you know.
I didn't even say anything. How are you getting slapped back? Okay.
You're
How's
getting it off of us through
How
the
is it
speakers. back.
now?
It's still there. I'm just pointing out, see how technically proficient we are. It's a very
How is it
professional
now?
show. Hello? It's still there a little bit, but
Or is it Dale?
we'll just keep. Yeah, Dale's
Maybe
got
it's
in-ears.
Dale.
You've got in-ears, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
How is
Um,
it now?
still there, but we'll just keep moving. And if you fix it, you fix it. So I wanted to mention that. Where was it? It went away. It's way, 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 way back here. Hang
What?
on. I'm sorry. Never mind. Oh, when we were talking about the bitter truth, Kenneth mentioned the bitter artichoke, which leads me to another entertaining thing to check out. We mentioned every Saturday, Jen has a Jen Majura.
Moment. My little moment of fame.
She has a video premiere, and they're actually really, really, really entertaining. But she did one 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago.
I don't remember. I think 2-3 weeks.
It was all about how artichokes suck. So if you agree with us on this front, then you should go check out this video. But this coming week,
Look, artichoke free zone.
yes,
Yep.
see.
I like
So,
that.
but check out her videos on Saturday because she's got these great behind the scenes coming up. There's some stuff probably
Well, that's the plan.
based on what happened this last week, right?
I mean, the whole thing started with me constantly putting out a video every Saturday at 7 p.m. Central European Time, 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and 10 a.m. in the morning here, Pacific Standard Time. And I came up with the idea just to keep me busy.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, when your life consists of touring, flying, jet lag, hotels, venues, shows, and it's all been replaced and reduced down to like this couch.
right,
This
right.
is the movement that I'll do from now on. Just symbolize my couch. I felt like, well, I need something to keep me busy, so I have something to do. And I think one of the first things that I started back in the days was the 1 minute jams, which also have been like, I think, the greatest success.
Those are great.
I mean, you joined for one minute jam for one minute.
I
jam.
did. I need a hero.
Yes, together with Mrs. Smith. That was interesting. And I had all kinds of like amazing musicians. And to be honest, it started out as a joke. You remember Kyle from the X Jam, right?
Yes.
So-
Kyle's a great drummer that lives in London.
Kyle is actually, no, he lives in Newcastle.
Newcastle.
Newcastle. So anyway, Kyle, I asked him if he would be up for, playing some happy, positive music, because that was literally what the world needed the most in that moment, I believe. And still, because everybody was so, what's going on? COVID and all that. And I said, okay, let's record just a short minute of a positive song. And we did, which song was it? The Jackson 5s. Ding, 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 ding,
Yeah.
ding, 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 ding,
Oh, yeah.
ding, ding, ding.
That was great.
And thank you. And we did that. And then I thought to myself, well, actually, that's a nice idea. It's just a minute and a half of music. It's not too hard, I thought back then. But yeah, and it continued. And if I look at that playlist back, it's crazy. I mean, I think the craziest person joining, which really, really surprised me, was Nico McBrain from Iron Maiden.
Yeah. it's,
Yes.
I mean, Nico McBrain
So
from
great,
Iron Maiden. I
right?
asked him, I'm like, hey, would you like to do a 1 minute jam? And he's like, sure, man. I'm like, what? Really? And we had, who else do we have? Drummer wise, Marco Miniman,
Oh, we had Mike Portnoy.
Mike Portnoy, Mike Tirana, Mike Mangini, all the mics.
Anybody
Yeah.
named Mike, that's why you're not on it, Dale. Travis's were okay, but apparently if you're not named Mike and you're a drummer,
And who else? We had Billy Sheehan, Richie Kotzen.
everybody,
So many.
everybody.
It's crazy. It's crazy.
It's
Yeah.
pretty
Alex
ridiculous.
Skolnick, he was there, who's also a fabulous jazz player.
Yeah.
He's
Yeah.
amazing. Have you ever seen him with his trio?
I haven't seen him live, but I've seen video and I'm familiar with his albums. And I knew he's always, the thing about Alex Skolnick is that he's always walked the line between like legitimate in both worlds, right?
Exactly.
He's like a legitimate metal guy, but he's also a legitimate kind of fusiony guy.
Yep.
And also the guy to thank for hooking you up with the Evanescence connection, correct?
That's true. I played another, like a festival, Friday, Saturday in Germany, and the other show was in Czech Republic with another band back in the days. And Alex was on the same billing with Testament. And so he checked out the show, and a couple of days later, he sent me such a mysterious email. He was like, dude, friends of mine are going to send you an email and reach out. And I can't reveal too much, but I say it's something you should say yes to. And I'm like, what is he talking about? Until I got that email and I was like, yes.
I wanted to mention on a quick side note here, we saw Julie, and Julie said, artichokes are awesome, you suck, number one.
Julie.
But number two, Julie and her brother Rodney, who run Blue Mouth, which is our booking agency,
Are responsible why we know each other.
are responsible
Oh,
why we know
right.
each other. Because
Yes.
the first X Jam, the second X Jam, I got an email because every X Jam, we're putting these jams together, and I'm kind of in charge of organizing these things. And so I got this email from, I can't remember if it was probably Julie, and it said, we got the guitar player for Evanescence coming, which meant absolutely nothing to me. Nothing. It meant as much, honestly, as
She goes like, "We've got the guitar player from Evanescence," and Travis goes like, "Who?"
meant nothing to me.
You know those guys with "Wake Me Up, Wake Me Up," and Travis goes like, "What?"
That's exactly right. Jen. So, but we started with the emails and stuff, and then it turns out that Jen and I are both Fishman endorsers.
Yep.
And so then we go to that NAMM show, and we're at the Fishman booth, and she's doing stage performances, and I'm doing stage performances, and then we do the X Jam together, and then we did the next X Jam together, and then COVID hit, and then it was just like, trying to save each other's sanity with conversation.
Pretty much, yeah.
Right. But that's Julie is to blame for that. So thank you, Julie, for
Thank you, Julie.
bringing
Thank you.
Jen Majura. I said my closest friends are only allowed to be named Jen. And I've talked on this podcast about how I have a plan, a secret plan. It's not secret because
Oh
I'm talking
no,
about
not
it.
that again.
Not
I'm
that
gonna
again.
start.
Oh, come, Travis.
I'm going to start the super group called Jen. And
I thought it was called the Gens.
is it the Gens?
You said last time we talked about it, you said the Gens.
Okay, well that's pretty good.
I
And
thought
then
it
we
was genius, spelled Genius.
What you?
Oh yeah, I believe maybe that is where it left off.
Guess what kind of music we're gonna play?
Gent.
Gent.
Exactly. That was my point last time, except I couldn't explain what gent was to people.
Here's the thing though.
What, you don't know what gent is?
Well, Dale has his finger on the pulse of the hip. Jen and I, Jennifer Young, and I, who's left the building. Jen and I, we don't know any of what the kids are doing. But Dale, who teaches like you do in his off time, and you have a music school, and Dale has works at a music school. So you guys know what's going on. You know what's going on with the kids. Jen and I are just old people, but you guys actually are hip to what's happening.
As much as they see fit to share with me.
I'm hip.
Yeah, right. I'm like, yeah. I have my finger maybe somewhere close to the pulse, but there's a lot of stuff they just shake their head and. Like,
but since we were before we move on, since we were talking about Jen's 1 minute jams, since we're coming up on Halloween weekend here, I thought we would take a minute and just kind of show what these 1 minute jams were all about for people that don't know, because basically they were just like, you were taking a little bit of liberty. Sometimes they were like a minute and a half, right?
Yeah, I know, but never longer than 2 minutes. Never 2 minutes. Never 2 minutes though.
So
I would like to ask a question about this later, but it can wait. But.
Yeah. So let's see if I can make this technology work. It's going to be amazing.
Okay. Happy Halloween.
Look at this. It's working. So this is a 1 minute jam.
Oh, yeah.
Yay!
Nice.
It's close to midnight. Something evil's lurking in the dark. Under the moonlight, see a sound that almost stops your heart. You try to scream, but terror takes the sound before you make it. You start to freeze. Right between the eyes, you're paralyzed. Thriller night. No one's gonna save you from the beast about to strike you. Thriller night. You're fighting for your life inside. Thriller
Darkness falls across the land. The midnight hour is close at hand. Creatures crawl in search of blood to terrorize your neighborhood.
Nice.
So there's an example of a Halloween 1 minute jam.
Nice.
So this is something that she was doing in her spare time for fun,
Yeah,
right?
pretty
So-
much.
So,
Jen,
I mean, the
Majura.
production on that, arguably, sorry, Dale, I just want
Oh,
to say the
go ahead.
production on that video arguably kind of almost rivals the actual video. Like she's
Right.
got a whole dance troupe out in the street doing the dance. She's got full makeup and everything. I mean, it's crazy.
Yeah.
Well, that was the Halloween one,
I know, but still.
you know. But it was
Yes,
fun.
go ahead, Dale.
I was gonna say, well, first of all, it's badass how much content and how many different ways you found to make content during all this.
Thank
So
you.
well done. But I was gonna say, besides, connecting with people, did you find that having all those deadlines and everything, did it keep you sane, or did it just make you more crazy and you wish you'd never like? Was it good for you or extra
Okay.
burden on you?
Well, like I said, it started out easy. And then at one point, I even had like one 1 minute jam spare, in case
Yeah,
I
yeah.
wouldn't make it. But there were a couple of very challenging ones. I'm not going to name any names, but there were drummers sending me 57 single stems instead of a stereo mix.
Nice.
Also, sub kick muted. The hi-hat was missing. 18th tom was an overhead and stuff like that. There were people sending me 8K videos.
Wow.
And I just,
right.
you just click on download and out of a sudden it says, your download time is 32 hours. And I'm like, what? So I had that happen.
And you're just engineering all this yourself, right?
Yes.
Wow.
Minus the drum mixes because I can't mix drums. I could probably, but I just, so I needed help in 2 cases where drummers sent me single stems. And it turned out to be like pretty stressful in the end because some people, you have to plan your entire week about this whole thing with the release on Saturday, uploading it exactly 24 hours before that. So you have Monday, Tuesday, or Sunday to talk to the new guest musicians. Then they have Monday, Tuesday to record. They have to send the audio footage at least Wednesday and send the video on Thursday. So I'll be busy editing Friday, and this whole thing in the end was just like really getting to a point where it was work. It was just work. And I mean, where do you go from Nico McBrain, honestly? I mean,
Yeah, exactly.
I asked Slash. Slash said no.
Oh.
I would have gotten Mickey D from Ex Motorhead Scorpions. He said yes, but then it was, I stopped doing the 1 minute jams.
Got it.
But yeah, it's been definitely an interesting time.
I like the idea that not only have you created deadlines for yourself, but you're relying on other musicians for deadlines.
And that is the stressful part.
Oh
Exactly.
my God.
I can always manage to make my, I'm fine with my deadlines, but
Right.
relying on others, like, can
Yeah.
be quite stressful.
So Chris says, Travis, tell me she knows Freebird.
Of course.
Are we going to do
Okay.
that for a 1 minute jam?
No.
It
Not
could
really.
not possibly be a 1 minute.
Every musician gets that joke. Greg says, what are the chances Jen guest sings on a TLB track? Well, Jen and I don't know if you heard the beginning, but Jen and I actually recorded something today, but that's something that, it's just going to be for fun. We'll see.
And
We'll see
wait,
what
also, you have to mention Larry now.
Larry Mitchell, that he did a 1 minute jam because
Yes, and, excuse me, think back.
I'm trying to
I
remember.
didn't want to sing the song.
COVID brain.
You asked me to sing the song.
Oh,
Right.
yeah.
Ah.
Yes, well, there is the little wing that you guys all saw, at least the Travis Larson people. Jen didn't feel particularly
Attracted to the song.
attracted to the song. Well, a lot of people do Little Wing, right? But I cannot do Little. When you guys come to these jams and you see me do Little Wing, I have to do like the Jimmy thing where you almost kind of talk through it because I am not a singer. But the Sting version is what I've always loved. So I always want to combine the Jimmy playing with, or the Stevie Ray Vaughan type playing with like the Sting vocals, which I do not have command of the Sting vocals. I don't know if you knew this, but I don't. So, so I had Jen was nice enough to sing on this thing, and Larry played on it. And this was one of the encores of the live stream Travis Larson solo shows. and we snuck it in because I could get into OBS and how all that stuff works. But you can drop a video in, and it looks like it's happening right now. So I did the thing live, and then at the very end, I dropped this video in where we'd put it together. The three of us had done this remote version of Little Wing, but I thought it was beautiful. But Jen,
I didn't say it wasn't beautiful. It's just that I'm
just
not
a song
the
that
biggest
everybody's
fan of
done.
it. You could have asked me to play Smoke on the Water, or, you know, it's like,
would you rather play
No.
Smoke on It?
How many times have you taught that, Jen?
oh my God. I tell you, my red list, blacklist, red list, whatever you want to call it, it's Smoke on the Water, Boulevard of Broken Dreams. Stairway to Heaven.
Also a drum mainstay. Go ahead.
Yeah, I know. Stairway to Heaven, Nothing Else Matters.
I'm going to find these, by the way, and
But-
post them in the feed here before we're done. Not those, but the ones that we've done.
Oh, okay. I
Yeah,
was just like, what? You want to post Smoke on the Water?
Yeah.
But I think Smoke on the Water and Boulevard of Broken Dreams is pretty much the worst.
Well, these are songs that have been done so many times, you don't need the albums to know them inside and out. You
The
know,
problem is when you teach them, and these are beginners' songs. And
right. Dale knows.
yeah, Dale understands my pain, right?
I feel you. I feel you.
But but the thing is that when you do the, you know, so Little Wing is like a tune that you always do at the jams because everybody can play it, but it's interesting and soulful. And so I always have to do the, you know, like, well, she's walking through the clouds, you know, and do it like Jimmy did it, because I cannot do the sting and the like, when I'm, and then that note. But I wanted to say, working with Jen today,
Oh no, not.
she doesn't like
Can I have
compliments.
something to cover
Modesty
my face
screen.
when you talk?
She doesn't like compliments.
Okay, go
But
ahead.
I wanted to say that when you're actually like, because, you know, in TLB, we don't deal with singers hardly ever. And when I do, it's usually, you know, somebody you're kind of like helping out maybe. And so she said, you know, we're going to do this tune, but it's such, it's such a pleasure to hear somebody that's really, really knows what they're doing. Yeah, that's not even showing up. You got to get closer.
I can't get closer.
It's just glare.
Oh, here.
Oh, there you go.
Okay, now you can. Where's my nose? Here.
Yeah. So,
Okay.
So it was such a pleasure to hear somebody with such a command of actually being a great vocalist and working on this song, even today for fun and being, you know, kind of amazing. It's kind of amazing. It's kind of like Kip when he, you know, when we had John Anderson in the studio and Kip came out of that session, and on one level, you're kind of in a studio with, you know, just another guy that's doing his job or another artist. But on another level, you walk out and you go, wow, there is a certain level of magic going on there, because that person is like really, really good at what they do. And Kip was like that with John Anderson when they did the Yes stuff. at
All
our
right,
place.
Travis.
Okay, we're done.
So
We're done. Thank you. Okay, I'm back. Hi.
So that's a good segue into working with people that intimidated you before you were in the same arena with those people. So
Pretty much.
so how has that evolved, or has it evolved? And are you still kind of like, you know, when you're dealing with people around you, like I remember, I don't think you would mind me saying that when you played the X Jam, you know, and you,
And
Your
I was
first-
there playing drums. Was that
I had to-
intimidating?
it was all, Dale Moon was so freaking great. She was like, I don't even want to be in the same airspace as this guy. But I do know, like, you know, you were very sweet because I know your first concert was Steve Vai,
Yes.
and I know that Mike was playing with us. And
Oh my God.
that's back when Mike was back in the day when he wore the big hats.
The hat. Mike Keneally, the hat.
On one of the early Vi tours, and
That was a great lineup.
that was your first
So good, right?
concert, right?
Yeah,
And-
that my dad took me to that concert when I was I don't even remember. We talked about this, but I can't remember how old I was. And I remember I stood in front of the stage first in front of I grabbed the stage like this, and I looked up, and I remember Steve walked up to me, and I could touch his leg, and I'm like, oh my God. And then it was Mike Mangini playing the drums, and he gave me his stick afterwards, and I'm like, oh my God. And I was so excited about this whole thing. And Mike, he was back in the days Steve's guitar player, and he was the hat.
Yeah.
And I thought he was fantastic. And then out of a sudden, because of that guy, I end up in a room with Mike Kennedy, and I completely turn into this fangirl. And I went up to him and I'm like, Mike, the first concert you were playing the guitar, and I thought it was amazing. And he's such a nice dude, really.
Yeah, he's like the sweetest soul ever.
Absolutely.
It's a big teddy bear.
And then I remember he let me play his rig. I remember that. And I was so scared that I might break something or don't understand. I mean, the X Jam, you have to understand, for my folks in this chat, you don't know what that is. So it means like you have your guitar and you walk on a stage and hope somebody gives you a cord to plug in, and then it's just go.
It's going to sound like something.
It's going to sound like something. And I heard, like, I think even you told me that I'm going to play through Mike's gear. And I was so nervous. And I thought, okay, oh God, am I going to hear myself? This was my biggest concern. Am I going to hear what I play?
People don't realize that Mike can't hear.
It was so loud. Oh my God. And I remember, what was that the year when we played?
You literally play a note and your hair goes like this.
It's even worse. We played Killing in the Name of that year. And I remember I walked on stage and I walked to the pedal board, and out of a sudden Mike, the sweet man that he is, showed up next to me, kind of like holding the cord, like, here, Jen, here's the cord. Like, thank you. I plugged in. And then we played Killing in the Name of, which starts with Kyle Cunningham. And then it's this giant, big, open, pow chord. And my ears, oh my God, it was so loud. The only thing that I could hear was me. And I immediately it's a matter of seconds. I ran to the front of the stage to his pedal board, and I looked over all the pedals and I'm like, oh, please, God, let this be a volume pedal, please. So I turned it down a little bit, and I'm like, oh, thank God it's a volume pedal. Otherwise, I don't know what would have happened.
Yeah, I mean, there was literal like percussion coming off of Mike's amp. Like I jammed with him at the end of that show, and it was like
brutal.
Like ow, 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 ow every time he plays a note.
Comments from brutal. Kip and Gino. That was pretty much the crew.
Yeah. Julie says she has to keep herself from being that way to you. By the way, we're talking about the fangirl thing.
Oh, come on, Julie. Your family.
Maybe she's being sarcastic, because we know.
Maybe.
We know the real deal.
Yeah.
It's funny, though, isn't it a weird dynamic of people that you've been influenced by versus people that are influential to others? Because, again, this is like one of my best friends in the world. Sorry, you don't like me doing that. But I've never been intimidated because I didn't grow up with Evanescence. I'm sorry.
Well, you didn't even know the band.
I didn't know the band.
Not even when I sang the songs.
But there's, but it's interesting because then, I'll meet people that, not many people know who they are. But if you know somebody that you've got so much respect for, that's really what it's about. It's like the respect level versus the fame level, I guess. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Did you see Julie's comment? I meant with MK.
That's great.
Yeah. Sorry.
We're all that way around, Mike.
So, what did Gina said? Were you there? Sorry. Yeah. Rita says Jen is one of your guitar heroes. Yeah, I should probably take a look at this. Does anybody else have any questions out there, by the way? I mean, I have questions all night long, but
all night long. Oh, no.
I do want to mention too, because
nothing. You just missed it. I was singing a song and you missed it, but it's okay. Yeah, Dale got it.
I always miss it. I'm off taking care of technical stuff. That's what happens. Mm-hmm. But I did want to mention that, we've got to know each other enough to where I know that you have been in the van and you've done this. Like we've done it many, many times. And so Jen, for our fans out there that know us, and I know our fans know us intimately for years, Jen knows how to work. And just because she's in this gigantic band where you're playing arenas
doesn't mean that I'm a spoiled brat.
So she's not a spoiled brat, even though she lives in a castle with a moat.
Yeah.
With
that
a
works
fence,
against you.
With a gate.
Well, the thing is, how it started was, humble age of 6, I got my first guitar and learned other instruments. Of course, like a little bit of drums, a little bit of violin, a little bit of this, of that. But electric guitar, that's the deal. And the first touring band that I played in or that I established was my AC/DC tribute band. And I did everything from merch to website to booking, speaking to promoters, hopefully getting the money at the end of the night. And that was the years of learning, I guess.
Right. It's kind of like for our world, that's like kind of like going to college, right?
Yeah, it's like you learn and you pay the price sometimes, but you learn. And then it moved on to me joining another band where I was allowed to like sing guest vocals. And then there was the first European tour. I believe I was, I don't know, early 2021. And that was the first time on a real tour bus, which was super excited. And I did merchandise, I did tour management, I did guest vocals, I did play guest acoustic guitar for the opening act. And that was a lot of work back in the days, but I like to challenge myself and learn and become better. And I feel like it's always like kind of like important to understand what it takes to get to a certain point or how much work certain jobs are, because only sitting there, and being a rock star, that has never been my thing. For example, when we finish a show with Evanescence, I usually, when everybody is in the dressing room partying, I usually go outside where the big trucks are and the local hands are helping load out. That's like 25 local people, which the band usually never sees. And they don't see the band because that's when the band is in their dressing rooms. And I always make sure to go out there and at least say to 3 up to 5, 6, thank you in person, because those guys never get a thank you.
Yep.
And I like to do that.
Yeah,
so
that's great.
Yeah.
And when you're doing small shows, I just saw Anthony said he still gets all fanboy when he's around us, which is kind of hilarious. But no, we're all friends. I told you that. We don't have fans, we have friends, and we sleep in a lot of houses on a lot of couches because that's just the way it is when you're doing fusion, especially in America. But
and if you ever are that way, Anthony, believe us, we don't notice it because it doesn't occur to us that anybody would feel that way about us.
And I was also going to say, we got a question that asks if there's any chance that you're going to be doing or adding shows in Indonesia or somewhere near there.
Honestly, I think when I joined the band in 20, are you crying?
Yeah.
No.
I get emotional.
When I joined the band in 2015? Yeah. I think we never played Asia. Oh yeah, we played Japan, one show at Ozfest, which was the 4th show ever since I joined them. But then we never did Asia. I really do hope that we will make it to a Southeast Asia tour this time with The Bitter Truth. And I hope I'm going to see... I've never been to Indonesia. Have you been to Indonesia?
I have not been to Indonesia.
Anybody? I've never been there. I really want to go there. They have great food.
And Jen is half Thai, so she understands food. And by the way, about going back to the video premieres on Saturdays, you can go back and find ones where she does vlogs with her dad cooking
vlogs with my dad.
Those are my absolute favorite ones.
Everybody loves my dad. Hi, Dad. I love you. We have still 2 more cooking vlogs with my dad. I came prepared to this tour.
Yeah.
Because I was like, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? I have to collect content. So we have 2 more cooking vlogs with Dad coming up.
I got to just give a shout out to Kip, because Kip poked his head in and he said he's been that guy many times, going back to the fanboy thing, I would assume. Which, by the way, Kip, I don't think I've ever seen that. Have you ever seen Kip be a fanboy? Only when he did sound for Bob Hope. Which is probably... Right. The reference there is probably lost on everybody. That's actually a true story, though. Kip did sound for Bob Hope, which most famous person he's ever done sound for. And he's done sound for everybody. Green Day, No Doubt, like
Don't Speak.
The Aristocrats.
I think Kip meant he feels that way about being appreciative at Loadout, maybe he said.
Loadout.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
okay.
Not
Not being a fanboy. Okay,
Yeah.
sorry. It was an old reference.
Yeah.
I also saw Chelsea is here. I just wanted to say hi to Chelsea because we haven't seen Chelsea in a long time. Chelsea is
Chelsea. Yeah.
Awesome Bay Area fan that shows up and We're like, I just left it there. She shows up. That's all you got to do to be an awesome fan. No, Chelsea is really awesome. She shows up and she's the dancing girl. She always dances back in the day at the drag shows too. She was the dancing girl. So, and Chelsea is also a musician and a keyboard player and a singer. So,
Hi, Chelsea.
Can I ask Jen Majura? Can I ask you a question about?
Absolutely not.
Everybody's going to have two names who's named Jen tonight.
We were just going to call them all Jen.
Yeah, right. So, yeah, like Travis was saying, I know you've done the van thing and been doing it at a gritty level, and I feel like everybody assumes that they wish they had the luxury of a big funded big ass tour and everything. And I actually feel like I'm probably more roadie than I am drummer. Like, honest, I'm not even joking around.
Well, that has to do with the instrument that you play.
True. Yeah. And just the way we do it, we're all loading stuff and putting stuff in the van and everything. And about 75% of my energy goes to that. And about 25% of it goes toward the drums. And it's easy to complain about it. But if I'm honest about it, I get to sort of distract myself with it too. And sometimes we'll have shows where we're treated like rock stars and we have a backstage area. And in a way, half the time it backfires. I'm alone with my thoughts and the pressure builds up and I get all nervous. So is that anything did you ever have to adjust to that? Is it weird for you not having to deal with your gear and stuff, or is it pretty easy?
Yeah, I get your point. It's kind of weird, especially when I changed my rig and I used to be with Angle Amps for 17 years.
Uh-huh.
And just right before this bullshit hit Planet Earth, I switched to Synergy amps. And I'm so familiar with the amps that I've played for so long. And I used heads, old school. And then everybody from Evanescence world was like, well, you have to build a rig with main and spare. And I'm like, I have to do what? I want my two heads, one main and one spare, and that's cool. And if the one analog head doesn't work, I just take my cable and plug into the other. So that was a little bit challenging because I didn't build it. So I know the devices. I have two Helix Line 6 rack versions in there. And I have two 50/50 Synergy amps in there. Both just main, spare. But the thing is, if you don't build your own gear, same with pedal boards and stuff, somebody builds it for you. You don't have that connection. And for me, I was always using like the 4-cable technique, and I would have my Helix floor pedal board where I can see everything what's going on, with the presets. And if there's something wrong, I can easily just like fix it, myself. But now with this rack version, I only have like a MIDI controller, which is, you have to trust your guitar tech a lot because that rig is not reachable for me when I'm on stage. I have to trust him enough to a point where when something goes wrong, he needs to know what is wrong and how to fix it. Mm-hmm. And I'm a little bit like a control freak sometimes, so that freaked me out in the beginning. So I gave him Helix Line 6 Helix lessons. I sat down with him and I'm like, okay, look, this purple piano does that. And if something's wrong, this is the button you just push. And so he's super cool by now. He did his homework. So proud of you, Tyler. I love you. And but it is definitely weird because you feel that disconnect with your gear. Right. Which back in the days when I played with my AC/DC band and I loaded my 2x12 and my amp into my car and drove for 20 hours, I knew every single cable and every knob and every equalizing. Yeah. But it's different in this big world. It's different. And then funny enough, if I want to tune my guitar, I just want to play and tune my guitar. I did that one time and my guitar tech, a long time ago. And my guitar tech walks up to me and goes like, Jen, can you please not tune your guitar? And I'm like, why? It's out of tune. Let me tune it. Can I do that? I don't want to, it's my job. And I'm like, what? I can't even tune my own guitar. It's weird sometimes. No, because that makes him look bad.
Right.
Yeah, because there's hierarchy at that level, right? Sure. We've dealt with some of that. And basically in that level, you're getting into a corporate mindset. And so, people aren't all talking and communicating. That's one thing I love about a small mom and pop operation is
Yeah.
that you communicate with each other immediately.
Yeah.
And you're not like 3 tiers down. And so
Yeah.
if the manager sees the tech not tuning a guitar, but nobody talks about it, he's all of a sudden going, well, why did she have to do that?
Exactly.
Because that's his job. And it just goes on and on and on. So you have to be careful because people start getting in trouble for things that they didn't do.
I mean, we had like in the beginning of our tour manager, when he got the gig with us, I think 4 years ago, it was kind of funny because I talked to my guitar tech and he seemed bummed out. And I'm like, what's wrong? Nothing. I said, what's going on? Like something, what's happening? And he said, well, the tour manager talked to me. He saw me sitting next to you at catering. And he said, crew shall not be seen by artist. And I was like, what? I always sit next to my guitar tech. And if I want to buy a beer at the bar for JC, our drum tech, I do that. Evanescence is really one big family because crew knows they have no job without artists and artist knows there's no artist without crew. So it's a very high level of respecting each other and the help we each other, like, it's like just a big touring family. And that tour manager came from giant bands like Kiss and Aerosmith
and Ted Nugent. I think he might have been working with Ted when we did that stuff.
He worked with everybody, but the thing is, for him that was normal, and apparently Evanescence is some kind of like unicorn, and I don't know. For us, it's normal. We do everything. Sometimes we would spend days off together and just go bowling, or in Amsterdam, we rented a boat and did a canal trip. And when Amy says something like, yeah, everybody, it means everybody, including crew, including bus driver, including merchandiser, including truck driver, everybody. And not just band. So when we got confirmation for that canal trip in Amsterdam and it says band party only, again, we were like, what? But you can't blame him. He came from a different world, so he thought that was normal.
Well, and it's such a rarity because, I remember Jen and Dale went to a Rush show and saw how their crew worked. And right before that, or after that, I can't remember, but we had been to a show with I'll just say a couple of big heavy bands. And because I don't want to name names, but we know who the difficult people are. And we just watched these 2 bands and 2 crews just like scream at each other all night. And the Rush show was we looked at it and said, that's who we're trying to be. And this just confirms who we're trying to be. Yeah. Because the whole crew was like a family and everybody was so happy to be there and it was quiet. And you could tell everybody took pride in no matter what they were doing. They were like proud to have that job, even if it was just, I'm going to climb up and shine this light all night. Yeah. It was like, holy crap, I'm working for these guys and this is the greatest job ever. And
you could tell they felt valued.
Yeah, exactly. I wanted to mention a couple of comments from a couple of people. Kip says, stop talking about me, but he also says, Dale's a great drummer and a great loadout person, none better. Cheers. And Valeria, important question, what wine is that?
It's sparkly water. I'm so lame. I know.
We're getting crazy here at the treehouse.
I'm so lame.
And then she also said, I know you kind of covered this, but if you didn't, she said, what modules are you using for this tour? Still the HBE, or do you have some changes?
Valeria, I don't even have to advise you, but watch the next Saturday video because I'm going to do a Rick rundown in that video. And it's also going to be about the first of all, reuniting with the band. And pretty much the week in Nashville, how we've been rehearsing our butts off every day. By the way, my feet are better.
Okay.
Like, finally, it's
Okay, what's wrong with your feet?
Well, she's standing for 5 days.
The
rehearsing.
Thing is, we always rehearse in Nashville at SIR, and the thing is that when you're on I do this hand movement again, couch for 2 years, and you don't play standing anymore. And then out of a sudden you get a heavy 7-string on your left collarbone, like conk. And we practice 7-8 hours a day. it got worse and worse. I felt like my shoulder moved more like this as the days went by. And yeah. And of course, nobody, whether the boys or me, nobody wanted to be first to ask for a chair or a stool. Nobody. It was like, nope, I'm good. I'm good. Ow, ow, ow.
Yeah, because it's the first one to give is like the wimp of the group, right?
Yeah, you don't do that. Don't ask for a chair.
I'm reading some of this. Valeria says, I told you, foam roller or Theragun. Theragun.
What?
Theragun, super helpful. I don't know what a Theragun is, Valeria.
Yeah, Valeria knows all the tricks. But I'm fine, Val. By now, I'm fine. Thank God.
I think just having like a solid sleep
Helped.
was a huge part.
Yeah.
And not having to stand all day, knowing you didn't have to stand all day.
And knowing that I don't have a 7-string strapped around my neck, yeah.
I tried to give her a stool for the vocals we were doing today, and she wouldn't take it. So she's always got to give it her all.
Yeah, but you can't sing when it's not the same.
So, I mean, I know this is like stuff you've talked about a lot, but being that we're in a band that has only been this band for like 26 years, something like that. I don't even know. And Jen and I have been playing together for 32 years. Something like that.
New guy.
I know, crazy. How old are you? Anyway, we've never experienced the rush, and I know this is a while ago, but we've never experienced getting a really crazy gig because we've never put ourselves out for that. It's always been, maybe one-offs with somebody. Jen did a tour with Andy Timmons.
That's pretty cool.
That's cool. But as far as, all of a sudden getting a gig that's going to, somewhat change your life in many ways.
Oh, pretty much, yeah.
It's going to change your life as far as people knowing you, number one. And then,
looking you up.
Yeah.
And sending you messages.
But as far as like on the positive note, when you first get that call, is that just like the biggest rush you've had to that point?
No, I was completely in shock.
Yeah.
I feel like that moment when I read that email, actually I was visiting my parents, and I remember my mom went to bed already. And I sat on the couch, and my dad was doing something on his phone, like Facebook or something. And I read that email, and my jaw just dropped. It's like, because that's not an email you get every day.
Right.
And I didn't even bother finishing to read that email.
You just...
I just reply, yes, sent. And
That's great.
it's a no-brainer, right?
You know what I forgot to do here?
What?
I know it's like kind of late now. But I just
I was-
realized...
Hey, Jen, I have a
It's fine.
question for you.
It's don't call me Jen Majura. Just say Jen and Travis. Come on.
Oh, but now I have to
Let
go
me
back.
do this. Let me do this for you. Look, this is how you do it.
Never mind.
Shit, where is that? Is that this one? Aha. And here's
How's it
space.
going,
There we
Jen?
go.
All right.
Okay.
All right.
You know.
There. Okay. Sorry.
Better.
Sorry.
Actually, it's
My-
vice versa. Look, you're Jen and I'm Travis now. Okay, no, I zip my beak. All right.
All right. What do you got, Jen?
Oh, I was just going to be silly. Hey, Jen, I have a question for you.
Yes, Jen.
What's it like being a girl guitar player in a rock band?
You want to hear my? I mean, it's very obvious that is the question that probably both Jens here,
Probably.
you and
I'm
me
guessing.
probably hate. I figured by the years now, I figured like I have an answer, which I always fire back at them,
Ooh.
which would be, yeah,
Lay it on me.
it's the perfect solution, to be honest. I mean, I was born as a girl, and I happen to play electric guitar in the rock and metal business. So I do not really know what's it like to be a male guitar player. And for me personally, it's not about the gender. It's, have you ever heard somebody point at, oh, look at that male bass player. Wow, look at that male guitar player.
Yeah, right.
Nobody does that. It's so stupid. And I believe that with more and more female musicians in the rock industry coming up, not only such as, I mean, us too, Taylor Wilkenfield, Millie Brosh, Nita Strauss, Gretchen Menn. There are so many, and not only string players, but also drummers. And I think we're on a good path to where gender finally will not matter anymore.
Yeah.
Because that's what we all are. I believe we're all musicians trying to just play passionate music. And it doesn't matter if you're female, transgender, male, skunk, whatever. We're just musicians, you know?
So I'll be
So
devil's
wait.
advocate. Oh, go
I
ahead.
have a
Yeah.
second part to that question. Sorry,
Yeah.
Travis. Let me. So, is there any question in interviews that you wish people would ask you that
I hate
you've
that
never
question.
been asked?
I hate that question because, you know, in some moments, mostly when you're on the toilet or something, you're like, oh, that would be a great question to answer to. And then this question, what you just asked me, happens. And then you're like,
Yeah, right.
Yeah, yeah.
I'll think about it. Maybe I'll come up with one.
So this would be devil's advocate and be the guy that's saying, so being that that's all the case, and yes, obviously, there's no limitations based on being male or female. It's just who you are as a musician and what your strengths and your weaknesses are. But do you guys feel like there's a difference in the way you think about things based on just your brain wiring, being female versus male or any of that kind of stuff? Or is it something noticeable? And that comes down to having...
I think we know Jen Majura's answer.
Right. Well, you know how people sometimes have differences in communicating, right? I mean, Jen and I have been playing together for 32 years, and
We've been talking for a year nonstop.
but when you're talking about, okay, so here's a segue that has nothing to do with the difference in gender, but when you're dealing with musicians and figuring out how to communicate with them, there's an interesting conversation we've had with Neely, who's playing the baked potato tonight, who's a
Right.
very schooled musician, right? And so she knows what she's talking about, and she will communicate that way. And then you have people that are not schooled musicians that grew up, and I know enough to, you can tell me like what key a song's in, and maybe I can tell you. But, you know, people like, and, you know, Dennis Chambers is a guy that can't read a note of music. There's a lot of musicians out there that don't speak music. So do you find challenges with dealing with different kinds of musicians when you're trying to communicate based on speaking
Well, listen,
rock and roll
there
versus...
are like two versions. That's, I think, a good quality when it comes to teaching is you explain it one way to the student, and then you look into a face of a young player that goes like, and they just don't understand. So what you do is find another way to explain the same thing. For example, if I'm like, a student performs a song and I'm like, okay, listen, that legato was not solid, and try like more of a decrescendo in the end. And maybe you want to have like a little, you know, if I use all that classical musical Chinese and the student doesn't understand, then I would probably just say, well, listen, you just played like an empty piece of bread. Put some, you know, some spices on there, or make some pasta with like chili, and you need the different herbal spices like oregano, which is the legato, and then you need some thyme, which is the timing, pun intended. And then you just make an easy explanation that everybody can relate to, right? So I don't really care. I have the music theory background, but I don't really care about it too much. Because if I say, hey, Travis, can you play quintuplets? And you go like, what? I can also go like, sing those quintuplets to you.
Right.
Takitenatum, takitenatum, takitenatum. Oh, right. Count to 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Right.
So the terminology doesn't really matter.
Because a lot of people, you know,
Ears matter.
and I agree. And I think there's a lot of musicians out there that start academically and they don't have ears.
Yep, I
Right.
agree.
So are you, and another interesting thing on that subject matter is, are you somebody that's more comfortable if you write a really complicated song, like on your solo
Me?
record in Zenity, there's some complicated stuff on there.
Nah.
Yeah, check out Jen's solo record in Zenity. There's some complicated stuff on there. We were listening to it even at the beginning of the show, right, Jen? Jen Young, I mean. Because I saw her and I were rocking out.
Hi.
And,
Yes, it was amazing. It's great.
so, I mean, no, your solo stuff is not just basic 4/4 rock and roll. You write some twisted stuff. And
Well, funny enough, I'm sorry to interrupt, but funny enough, after the album was finished, I realized I only have one song in 4/4.
right.
One. Everything else has like a little, whoops, there's one more beat. Whoops, there's a little skip part.
Yeah.
It's just one song in 4/4.
So do you find it more comfortable to learn the material note for note, including solos and everything, or do you find it more comfortable to improv some of it or have improvisational sections?
Most of the time, I don't have a clue what's going on in my song. So, I just start the song. I'm like, okay, count me in. And then, well, there are some, I think it has to do with what kind of solo we're talking. I had Alex Golnick and Jeff Waters play guest solos, and Matthias J. Eklund and Jan Serfeld from Panzerballett, which are the quirky ones with all this, we count to 7, 9, 11, and 13, which I love. I'm a big fan of conical. Have we ever talked about conical?
A little bit, but I'm not.
I'm
Super
completely
familiar.
diving into this Indian rhythm language where you can. Dale, are you familiar with that?
Yep.
You are
I'm
probably,
familiar
right?
with it. I'm not saying I'm good at it, but I know what you're talking about. Yes.
It's just
Indian
literally
counting systems.
such an interesting and very phonetic way to understand rhythm, because
And it
go
like
ahead.
happens on many levels, right? Like there's the beats you're counting, and then there's gestures involved, and you can keep track of
everything.
You can keep track of the big picture and the small picture and everything in
Yes.
between.
Exactly. And it's easy to understand, instead of like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You go like takite natum.
Yeah.
And it's so easy to go like takite natum, takite natum, takite natum. And also when you, for example, this
Everybody
is something
thinks
I
you're
learned.
a trumpet player when they find you doing that, by the way. If you stand around in line at the store going, takadimi, takadimi, tak, people go, are you doing
the-
tonguing exercises? Are you a trumpet player?
Yeah.
I never.
Takadimi, takajuna, takadimi,
Anyway,
takajuna.
sorry, go ahead.
And what I found really, really inspiring, and I talked to my friend Mike Mangini about this. This is really fascinating. You know how bands like Dream Theater or Sons of Apollo, out of a sudden they play a song, and out of a sudden the tempo changes.
Yeah.
And I always assumed like they must have heard the song so many times that they just magically jump into the new tempo. And
But
this is
it's
going to be
metric
interesting because I
modulation.
haven't thought about it for such a long time. But if you go, for example, count, this is a little nerdy stuff. Is that okay?
Of course.
Okay.
Yeah, we have many nerds.
Okay.
So that's our people.
Yeah.
All right.
Yes.
So conical nerds, if you go count 4, takatimi takachuna, takatimi takachuna, that's your tempo and your beat. And when you then start counting triplets, not triplets, but groups of 3, takite, 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 ta. And you then adjust every one of those 3 groups as the new tempo. You can easily go from takatimi takachuna, takatimi takachuna, takite, 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 tak. And that is so interesting. That was fascinating. It's like, do you know what I'm talking about?
Yes.
Okay,
Well,
cool.
Steve I did a song based on that, correct?
Yeah, it's super fascinating, and I never understood that. And when
There's
I did,
a great
I felt
video,
like awesome.
and I don't know if it's exactly the same counting system you're referencing, but there's a great video of Steve Smith and Victor Wooten. And in this
think I've
video,
seen
they
it.
show them backstage where they're like, they were going to do this big festival, like a modern drummer festival or something like that. I'm getting all the details wrong, but they both just are saying hi for the first time, like kind of wide eyed, like they're going on stage in 12 minutes and somebody's flight got delayed. And they're just like, didn't you study with so-and-so? Did you do the counting stuff? And they're like, yeah. And they're like, we'll do that. And then they're on stage just going
Oh,
like,
that's cool.
it's like they're going bump, bump, like what you're saying, bump, 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 bump. But it's not random. It's every 5th, 16th, every 4th, every 3rd, and then they
Yep.
bust into it. It's all metric modulation, just like what
Yep.
you're talking about.
Metric modulation. Thank you, Dale. That's what it's called.
Well, that's Valeria.
No,
mentioned
you
that
just
too.
you just like we were saying earlier. That was the fancy words. The way you described it is how people can understand it.
Yep.
But you are really good at making things understandable for dumb guys. I can attest to that. I'm just saying.
Yeah, was that the Steve Gadd clinic we saw where he was getting really into that metric modulation stuff?
I think you're thinking of Steve Smith.
Oh.
Yep.
Okay.
Oh, maybe.
Well, Steve Gadd
Steve
was.
Gadd is 50 Ways to Leave Your Lover.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but we saw Steve Gadd out at the
Maybe I was
Quest
thinking.
College
Yeah,
auditorium
but
once.
you were both with me at a Steve Smith clinic, and he's super duper into
Okay,
Indian
then that was it.
accounting systems.
I got you.
And he was like singing a bunch of Call over playing drums.
Yeah.
He's a
Do you know the Vi song that does that? I'm
yeah,
sure you
it's
do.
called.
It's called the Vi song that does that.
No, wait.
Okay, sure.
Let me think about it. I know the title. I'll
Yeah.
get it. Have you ever played a Vi song?
Back in the early days, the very first cassette tape that I gave Jennifer Young,
Which song did you play?
Oh my God.
It was the
Yes, that's. What is the name of it? This is COVID brain.
it was it was off of Alien Love Secret. Or
I
no,
know. No.
the
It
first
was the first one.
the first one with Lily
God,
Green.
Steve, if you're watching this, I'm sorry. God.
Yeah, that was the what's the name of that? It was a demo.
Fire God.
Nope. Fire Garden's 97 or 96. No, it was the
Flexible.
somebody out there knows. Flexible. Thank you, Jesse.
Flexible. Thank you. Yes.
Thank you, Jesse.
I knew something.
Yes, the very first cassette I ever gave Jennifer when we were in high school, back when you had cassettes. Tender Surrender. No, it's not Tender Surrender, and it's not For the Love of God. It's before that, and I had a you know how we. So this is kind of fun, but so we got a billboard for the Grammys. By the way, we'll talk about that in a minute. But I got a Billboard
Please tell me you
magazine.
don't have it here.
No, it's
You're
out.
not going to show
It's
it.
out there. No,
Okay, good.
but there's a sound card, which is like when they used to send you records, like little 45s, but they're on a flexible sheet. Remember those, Jen?
Yep. Yes. Hi. Yeah.
That's right.
Totally do.
Jen just wants out. Sorry. When you live in a universe with two Jens, they cancel each other out.
Yeah, right.
two Jens cannot make one greater Jen.
Right.
So
Yes, I remember those. Those. Yes.
Well, so I had one from, I think, Guitar Player magazine that had that song on it, and it was before that was out, and so I learned that, and then I had this really like some at the they're really bad demos for now, but when you're a high school kid, it was like kid's got some promise, right?
Yeah.
And so I gave that, and I sent it. I'm thinking in internet terms. I had a cassette, like a
You
tape.
mailed it.
I know. I actually handed it to her at high school.
Yeah. Right.
She gave me one with a bunch of Rush songs and a Triumph song, and like it had
Probably some Zeppelin.
no, it had just the Rush instrumentals, and I think a Triumph. You know what? You're probably right. I'm sorry. I think maybe it had two Zeppelin songs. It had Stairway to
You weren't
Heaven
into Zeppelin. You weren't into anything but Herbie Hancock and Chick Corea
at the time,
and the Stones.
yeah, which is an odd pairing, right?
No.
Travis was not a rock and roll guy in the beginning at all. Well, except for Van Halen.
Well, except for, and the Stones and Van Halen.
And the Stones, right.
But anyway, so I gave her this tape of me playing these songs. One of the songs was that. One of them was my version of Stairway to Heaven as done by Stanley Jordan, which I had learned. So you do the tapping thing and you play da 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 da, but you do the key changes underneath. And then there was like some like stuff on there that was just like original. And then I don't even remember what that was. It's like some stuff. And then we started like jamming and recording some stuff. That's not it.
Really? Oh, wow.
No, it's very close to that, but that's not the song.
And it's on Flexibles?
Yes.
Okay, then I know what you mean.
Then that's got to be it.
It goes blat.
Yeah, I heard it
It's all
earlier and I was
spacey.
thinking of that song. Okay,
Yeah,
sorry.
that was the only Vi song that I ever really tried to learn. Like,
Sorry.
learn.
How about
As you
you,
were.
Jen?
I started out playing Erotic Nightmares. And of course, and For the Love of God and the usual kind of easier songs. And at one crazy day, I don't know why, I decided to do to learn Pig from my all-time favorite album, Sex and Religion. And Pig is like the craziest song on the album, and I don't even know why I decided to learn that song. But what I remember is I posted a video of like a minute of that song playing it, and it's like don't take it down, and I kept saying when you play a Steve Vai song, it feels like you're cleaning your fretboard. It's like so much movement and so much going on, and I did post it, and I remember it was a Tuesday evening, April something. I don't remember, but a Tuesday evening. And I was right about to go to bed, just check my Instagram once more. And out of a sudden it says Steve Vai himself has mentioned you in a comment.
Wow.
And I'm like, Steve Vai, wait, what? And I went back and I'm like, what? So he shared my video on all his social media. It was like, oh my God, that was crazy. And he said something really, really sweet. I mean, I love Steve. He's such a super smart, awesome, inspiring musician and person. And he said something like, never did I expect for somebody to figure out how to play this song, but
Nice.
I was in awe because the guitar player of Evanescence, she mastered it and blah, 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 blah. It was a really, really nice post. And thank you, Steve. That was
Nice.
awesome.
Yeah.
And I couldn't sleep the entire night because I was so happy.
Super excited.
Totally.
Anthony said Little Green Men. No, not that. Oh, there it is.
Right.
Yeah, that
It's
is
the
it.
Call
Play-
It Sleep.
Call It Sleep. Yes, that is the first device song I played. Play
Let's hear it,
just like a
Dale.
second of that.
What is it?
Hold on one sec. Here I go.
Yep.
That's back when Steve had no production. That's Stu Ham, and they recorded it basically in a garden shed converted into a studio, I think.
Am I going to get us kicked off
Oh,
platforms
yeah.
by having
Yeah.
Just about to
Turn it
stop
off.
it.
So, yes, Call It Sleep.
Nice.
Sweet.
Yay.
So that was it. How is everybody doing?
Good.
Good.
Great.
Are you
What
ready?
else you got?
Are you ready to finish your Mexican food?
What else?
Oh
you got?
yeah, that was pretty good.
It's probably getting late on the East Coast. I don't know what the intent, you were
Yeah,
intending
it's
for
the intent
evening.
is an hour and a half, and we're just about there. So,
All right.
but I will say thank you very much for putting up with us.
Thank you
Yeah.
guys for having me. That was fun.
So weird.
And in the comments, or not in the comments, in the listing of this video, so in the details of the video, you can find the link to Jen's social media. So check that out. It's the one particular one you told me to share, which I'm blanking out which one.
I
that
don't
was.
know what exactly he's talking about, but I'm sure it's
No, it's
amazing.
your Instagram page.
Oh, okay. Ah,
Your
well, we
Instagram
talked about
page.
that. Okay,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
And
So-
check out my YouTube for the Saturday fun.
Yeah, check out.
Yeah. Yay.
And Jen has a Facebook which also lists that stuff. You don't spend as much time on Facebook, but you're here
Yeah.
occasionally, right? And
Facebook is for old people, Travis.
That's what the
Welcome.
dudes say.
welcome, old people. Welcome to my world of old people.
Yeah.
So Jen is going on tour in like a week and a half or something like that.
Yeah, I'm gonna fly to where? Seattle. And then we're gonna have 2-3 days of production rehearsal, and then we're gonna hit the road together with Halestorm, starting in Portland on. It is Portland, right? I
Yeah,
think
that's
Portland.
the first date is Portland.
November 5th,
All
and then we're
right.
gonna be all over the U.S. And so come see us play.
And then
Congratulations on the
Thank
tour.
you.
Come get
Thank
back
you.
out there.
Yay.
Yeah, I know.
Yay.
And it's really cool because I said that to Amy the other day. I think this is going to be like the biggest tour that I will be part of so far. I've never played such a big tour, and I'm excited.
I also want to mention, I was starting to mention Billboard, but they had a #1 album with the new album, and they've got, I think, 3 or 4 top 20 Billboard hits. That would be a hit, right?
Yeah.
And if you are a voting member of the Academy, as I am.
That's actually advertising. Okay, I got to look nice for this.
Yeah, I went on the Grammy website and I voted the other day. And you
Nice.
You're
guys,
such a good friend.
you guys were on there like many, many times. And so check out Evanescence. Check out all the recent videos and singles they've come out with. Check out Jen's solo record, Exenity. Sorry.
Exenity is nice too.
Exenity is nice, but that's not what it is. It's Insanity. I meant to grab the CD, but I'm a big loser. And so it's a white cover and it's got her on it. It's in the other room and I can't get up because I'm trapped here covered with wires. But check out Insanity. Check out Jen's social media. And as far as we go, also links to all the Travis Larson Band stuff in the description of this video, as well as the virtual tip jars and the merch shops and all that stuff. So check that out. And I promise we're not just going to host talk shows for the rest of our lives. There's very likely going to be some sort of live Travis Larson event, maybe around early December. So keep your eyes around that. That's going to be for the people in California, somewhere around the San Luis Obispo area. I think if it works out, I haven't posted it yet, but I would say we're 90% committed to making something happen because yours truly has a birthday that I have to celebrate in some way. And usually that involves, playing somewhere. So that's what's going to happen, I think. And there's going to be a bunch of friends jamming if that happens. So just keep an eye on things. And other than that, Jen, you got anything?
Hey, you want to hear a joke about staccato?
Absolutely.
Never mind, it's too short.
I knew this one.
I don't have any instruments plugged in or anything, so I'm going to have to hold this up to the microphone.
I have
But
a phone.
here, go ahead and crack.
Do you need that one?
Oh, no. I was going to crack.
I don't have anything.
Here, singing solo.
No, I don't want to play any solo now.
Nope, that's not the one I want. I want that one. How do I get him out of there? Bye.
That's not